This is the Quantum Leap podcast. I'm Peter,
And I'm Mikey.
and in this episode, we are rewatching Starcrossed. So, all right, this is our second episode. First off, Mikey, how do you feel about after our first episode?
How do I feel? Really good. You know, I'm really enjoying the series, and I enjoyed this next episode we watched today. I'm happy, excited to talk about it today.
Okay, so I know we're kind of doing a thing where you're predicting what's going to happen in the next episode. Did you skip ahead by chance and just watch the next episode?
Did, no, I did not. No,
Okay, okay,
I'm staying true. I don't even remember
okay.
what I predicted. Did I predict anything correctly? I don't even know.
Um. I don't believe you did. It's been a couple weeks.
Okay,
We
yeah,
we
it's fine.
finally just got we just finally got the feed back up. The website's back up, and so um we did have to kind of wait on this recording to kind of get those logistics ironed out. And we've been in the meantime, prior to we haven't even at the time of this recording, we haven't even released our first episode yet, but the reception from the community and the people that have already been supporters of the QLP on social media just have been really, really nice and making the transition very easily. So thank you to those people that have been reaching out to us, sharing our posts. Shout outs to Damon who created like this very extensive post and kind of like summarized, some of the things that I shared with like Albie and Christopher in the kind of the announcement episode. So to see all of that, just to see the support without even hearing, one episode from us has been really, really incredible. So thank you guys.
Yeah, I wanted to echo that. I wanted to thank everybody that's been, is it still called tweeting, Xing, whatever it's called. Um,
I'm
so,
saying tweeting.
yeah, okay, sure. Who's been tweeting us? They're showing their support for us, and we haven't even released an episode technically out yet. But um, the community has been really welcoming, and I appreciate that. I also wanted to shout out. I wasn't on the announcement episode, and I just wanted to thank everybody that's with the Quantum Leap podcast for again being so welcoming and helping us out, and passing us the baton, I guess. Well,
The hand link. You're gonna learn that.
the hand, yeah,
The
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah.
Passing of the hand link. Yeah, and just since we're still shouting out, shout outs to like our friends from the Cobra Kai community that are also going to be joining us on the journey. Those that also kind of grew up with the show as well. So you have a couple of our buddies over there that are a little envious of you because this is your first time watching the series. And also shout outs to Cinema Steven, my friend over at Screen Addicts, he was actually looking for something to rewatch because I think he just finished Buffy and he just needed something he hadn't seen in a while. And then when I made this announcement, he's like, perfect, there it is. And so he gave us a shout out on his podcast and that he's looking forward to joining us on this rewatch as well. So yeah, thanks to everybody. And I think everyone's just excited for a new episode. So really looking forward to diving into these with you guys. And, hello to anybody that has not heard our voices yet and decided to start with this one. Okay, so let's get to the episode, Mikey. This I mentioned is called Star-Crossed. It originally aired on March 31st, 1989. So about a week after my sixth birthday. So there you
Oh
are.
wow.
Here I am, 6 years old watching this. I don't remember if I was watching this stuff live, but my earliest memories were definitely like, second, third grade, which is right about this time. So I could have been watching it during its initial run. I know there were, times where it wasn't quite in syndication yet, but there might have been, I mean, the people that are a little bit older than me might have a better recollection, but I feel there might have been like opportunities where you were able to rewatch the episode had you missed it. But again, I was way too young to remember at this point.
So I actually looked
Yeah.
it up. I'm sorry. The first two episodes they aired on a Sunday, and then this aired the following Friday, and then it was on Fridays after that. So probably part of the reason why I didn't watch it was I was watching TGIF. I was watching Full House or Perfect Strangers or Family Matters or whatever was on. So at that time,
Well, I was too, and so yeah,
yeah, I don't know, but
you
yeah.
know,
So
can't explain it. It is weird. When I found out that this was a blind spot for you, I'm just like, how? Because we
yeah,
have so many things in common in the things that we consume. So, yeah, I mentioned in March 31st, 1989. The leap date for this is June 15th, 1972. And if it's listed, I'll say it. This takes place in at Lawrence College in Marion, Ohio. And the lead B is Dr. Gerald Bryant. Mikey, do you have the summary for this episode? I forgot to ask you.
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, Sam leaps into Gerald Bryant, a sleazy English college professor who is having an affair with one of his own students. Sam's mission is to end the affair and get the young woman interested in a wrestler from Ohio State her own age. However, when Sam realizes that Donna Elise, the woman he once loved, who left him at the altar, is attending school there, Sam forgets about his mission and tries to make sure that Donna doesn't break his heart in the future.
All right. That's a really great summary. I had something much shorter up, and so clearly we don't have the same sources, and so I really liked what you had read. Before I forget, either of your boys watching these with you?
They are not. No, no.
Oh, okay. Good, because I've been
Yeah,
seeing one of them pop up in the stories too. So I was just like, oh, maybe he's watching along. So I was wondering.
not that I know of, at least, but it's
No,
possible.
no, he's keeping tabs on dad.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's probably it. Yeah.
all right. So let's go with the initial thoughts. What did you think about this episode?
So overall, I liked it a lot, but there was a lot going on, a lot that I'm not even sure needed to go on. Like this happens during Watergate, we find out near the end, or I guess, if you know your dates, you knew it earlier, but I don't even know that that really needed to be in the episode, and I have so many questions about that at the end. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good episode. So
Oh, good. Okay.
um,
So I've always remembered this one to feature Donna Elise, and I kind of know that history and some things that may come in the future. And so like I've always liked this episode, but as somebody who was reviewing this episode and rewatching it as an adult, as a dad, and all these things, I don't know if like being a dad actually matters for this episode, but this episode hit differently for me, and I love this episode. I think it's charming as hell. Um, it has a very comedic rhythm, like almost like sitcom-y,
yes,
yeah, some of our cast members. Where I have a note about Oscar, where not only is he like super horny, they use that term like four times in this episode,
yes.
but I felt that he was almost like in a different movie, and so I thought that was a little interesting. Oh, not movie, but like he was on a different show, but it's fine. But I guess I wrote that note down prior to kind of processing the episode. And I'm like, oh man, like there's a natural comedic rhythm to it. I have some examples that I have in my notes, so we'll get there. And I love the stuff with Donna, which I should go over the guest stars in here as well. And I actually I don't know about you, Mikey, but because you brought it up in the last episode, I don't know if it's a bit of inception because of that first episode we did. Because now I'm kind of looking for these Back to the Future moments, and I
Okay.
have some. Okay, so I don't know if you
I
got
don't
some,
I
but
don't
I
have
have
any of
some.
this episode, so I'm excited.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And when I say them, I think you're gonna be like, oh wow, like how did you miss that? Because I felt like you would have had these too. So it's a little surprising that you didn't. And okay, so my Eric Stoltz moment watching this episode, and what I mean by that is, do you know how he was the reason that he ended up getting fired? Like what led to that? Like a comment that he made.
The comment he made. I don't know. I just know he was taking the role a little too seriously.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So basically he was saying like, oh wow, this is really sad. Like Marty comes back to an
oh, right.
alternate. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So in this episode, like again, I'm processing things so differently now as an adult. It was when Al appears and they're at the gas station. Sam has this this reaction like, oh, because he was so happy to see Al, because the last time he saw Al he was dragged off, right, by
Yes.
invisible people. And Sam's reaction gave me that Eric Stoltz moment, because I was like, man, because I forgot how lonely Sam is in his sleeps until Al shows up, right?
Oh, that
And
is true.
so
Yeah, I never really thought
yeah,
about that, but yeah, yeah,
yeah, so
definitely.
maybe they're gonna need to get new hosts, because like I'm looking at this differently. Looking like Eric Stoltz, but well, the Battlefield fans will get it. But I felt this episode wasn't necessarily establishing rules and uh quantum leap isms or staples of a quantum leap episode, but this episode introduces a lot of things we will see, and I'll try to remember some of the examples. But for example, like there's that point where Sam is looking at Al, and Al is like, "No, don't give me that puppy dog look," and that happens often where like Sam just wants a little bit of info and Al won't give it, and then Sam gives him some sort of look and basically twists his arm, because he can't touch him physically, and so just those little touches, that the dynamic between Dean and Scott, it's just like we're starting to kind of see it permeate, and there's a lot of things that I'm just like, oh wow, they were already starting to do it. One of the other things, I don't think I have this down as a note, but when Sam has to lie about how he knew something, and the way Scott plays it is just like, God, you're such a terrible liar, and I don't know how like the person you're lying to still believes you. So it's little things like
True,
that
yes.
that it will become like a trait, a characteristic of Dr. Sam Beckett. So um question or
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say one thing I think I was surprised by this episode was so Sam is already using time travel for his personal benefit, and like
yeah,
we're two episodes in or three, but it depends how you count the episodes. And like he sort of did in the beginning where he talked to his dad, and now he's altering his own future, and that was something I wasn't expecting so early in the series, I guess. So yeah, I was a little
yes,
surprised by that.
I was too. That was one of the questions I wrote down. What did you think about him essentially using this for his own personal gain? And so I do like what they're showing us in this episode, is that things that Sam does will create a butterfly effect, without actually using that term. Most of us, if you're as young as I was, didn't learn it until 2003 when that movie came out and explained what a butterfly effect was. Um,
I actually really love
and
that
all
movie.
I do too. I reviewed it on Nostalgic if anyone's interested. It's a really good movie. Maybe a little underrated. Like I think
I
people
think it's
thought it was
underrated.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
there's
dark,
sequels
but
too, and
it's
they're horrible, but sorry, I don't mean to talk
I
to people.
watched them and I thought, I didn't think they're terrible. I didn't think they're terrible. Uh,
Yeah.
the I think there might have been three, and the third one got a little Game of Thronesy. I'll leave it at that. All right. So yeah,
Okay.
we're getting to the episodes a little bit here. One of the other things that I do like that they when I introduced is Sam gets dropped into his sleeps and he has no info because Al's not going to show up right away. They have to figure out where Sam is, and then that's when Al will show up. But in this episode, we see Sam's very quick on his feet. Like he bumps into Jamie Lee, and he doesn't know her name, but clearly she knows him, and he's able to see that her name's written on her spiral notebook. So he's really quick at that.
Yeah, I will say when he first dropped into that class, those women, they were very smitten with him, and like I didn't exactly get that because I guess the premise was women would sleep with him to get an A in the class, but or maybe they were just acting like that to get an A in the class. But I was like, this it was a little overboard for me, but um, yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe he was using I think basically he was taking advantage of the ones that he could, and those were the easy A's. Even though like if you just did the work for most, probably would have just gotten an A for doing the work, like Donna Lee said. And so I think that's where that came from. I like that the summary that you read described him as sleazy. What did you think about? Because the first time Sam gets a glimpse of what he looks like is on a photo ID, which is kind of brief, and then later on. What did you think of the look of the professor? Did you expect like someone more like Indiana Jones?
Yeah, I was expecting someone more studious, perhaps. He looked kind of homeless. No offense to the homeless community, but like he looked horrible. He didn't even honestly, he looked so different that I wasn't sure until the second time I watched the episode after looking at the ID that it was the same person. I was like, is that the same person? Because he looked so different and so reckless, or I don't know. But yeah, that was quite a reveal. And
Kind
that
of.
made it even more odd to me that the women were so smitten with him because I'm like, he looks horrible. What
It's the
what's happening
poetry,
here?
that's
Yeah,
what it is.
it's
It's yeah, yeah. I think that's what it is, and he seems to know his work. I think he's a professor and all that stuff.
they
So,
were reading
um,
Wuthering Heights. Have you ever
yeah,
read Wuthering Heights?
I don't believe I did. I'm familiar with the
Okay.
title, and I feel like it might have been made into a movie, probably.
So there's actually a movie coming out in 2026 with Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi.
Hmm.
Um, So that comes out actually on Valentine's Day. It's coming. I just saw a
Oh,
preview for it. So,
I love me a period
yeah,
piece. I'll check it out.
yeah. I definitely I did read that, and I read Jane Eyre. I took a women's literature class at the University of Pittsburgh in 1999, and I just aged myself. But yeah,
Well, would you pause at 90? I go, hold on now.
1999. Yes, yeah.
Right. Were you like a savant, like a Sam Beckett here, graduated
I was just
eagerly.
no, definitely not. No, no.
The lead B, Dr. Gerald Bryant, he is played by John Taylor. My apologies if I mispronounced that. Let's go over some of the other names. Terry Hatcher plays Donna Elise. Were you surprised to see her? Did you recognize her right away?
Recognized her right. I missed her. I wasn't paying attention to the credits the first time I watched, and I missed her. And then I was like, oh my, it's Terry Hatcher. It's Lois Lane herself. How about that?
Yeah.
Or if you're a Desperate Housewives fan, I don't remember her character there, but yeah, so I was pleasantly surprised to see her. Very young and very different. She acts different than later on. Maybe she gets more experience, but yeah, definitely. I was
Oh, she
big surprise to see her.
Yeah, I thought she was really great here. I've always remembered her in this role. M May have been another reason I did watch Lois and Clark. I mean, Superman is my number one superhero already, and
Yeah.
so I did watch Lois and Clark, a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it, and so she was the reason that yeah, I watched that. And when Desperate Housewives came out, she was the reason that I did give that a shot, and it just wasn't for me. Um, Now, Jamie Lee is played by Leslie S. Sachs. I'm not familiar with her, but she would go on to be in a movie with Scott Bakula called A Role of a Lifetime or something like that. And
Oh.
yeah, just reading the summary of that, it sounds very interesting. Where I think it's like he plays like a washed up actor who think it was like erroneously reported that he had died, or maybe they were making a TV movie about him, and so he decides to like audition as like a different actor to play that role of himself or something. Like I don't know. It sounds very interesting. Um, and Oscar, played by Michael McGrady, did you recognize him at all?
I didn't recognize him, but I looked him up and he's a well-working actor. He's still working today and he gets, a few parts a year. I was very surprised to see him, but I didn't recognize him from anything specific. No.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of things. Do you watch Hocus Pocus?
No. I
Oh,
apologize. I
okay.
do not.
Okay, all right. Well, he has a very small cameo in Hocus Pocus where he plays somebody dressed up as a police officer, and the main kids come to him thinking he's a real police officer reporting about the Sanderson sisters. And so I learned that today. I have always known that actor to be recognizable, except for I was just like, to me, growing up watching Hocus Pocus almost annually, I just thought I recognized him as that. But then upon rewatch, I'm like, Grady, this Oscar looks familiar. Do I know him from anything else? And that's what it is. And oh, and I think the only other person I would like to mention here is Colonel Wojciechowicz, played by
Oh
Michael
yeah.
Gregory. Did he look familiar to you at all?
He looked familiar to me, but I didn't look
Okay.
him up, and I don't know why he looks familiar to me. So,
2 years previously, he was in RoboCop, the first movie. And
maybe that's why.
when I saw that credit, because RoboCop is like one of my favorite movies of all time, I think that was my very first review as a podcaster ever was RoboCop. It's
Oh
either
well.
that or Coming to America because those were one and two. But I believe he was the police officer that was negotiating with the hostage situation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's him. Like I'm trying to like picture it because when I saw his credit, that was the first role that popped in my head. I was like, that's got to be him. So, but okay, all right. So back to our notes here. Okay, so Jamie Lee's name, Al staring at Jamie Lee's behind. So we're gonna get a lot of that. Al's a womanizer. You're finding out about a lot about Al in this episode, with the whole Tina thing, and there was like another Bartlett, like something
Yeah.
Bartlett's wife or something. So
Yeah.
you're gonna hear some of that stuff as well. What did you think about Jamie Lee?
Um, I think she was okay. Not a little, a lot dramatic. I don't know if that's the actress's actual accent, but it was a very southern, oh, I do declare, kind of accent. Um, but yeah, uh, uh, she was down for suicide, which was a little much for me, but yeah. Um, yeah, I
Yes.
don't know.
In terms of the accent, I'm not sure. Like it was almost I I feel like that voice is it's almost kind of like a stereotypical Southern Belle drama student, like I don't know why, but
Yes,
I'm getting the Teen Wolf vibes, from what was her name? Pamela, right? From Teen Wolf. Like she had a
it's
kind of
been a
similar
long time
accent.
since I watched it. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right. Yeah, yeah. It was like the popular girl that was like in the play, and Michael J. Fox's Scott Howard. He wanted to get in the play too. Anyway, so that's kind of like the voice that I hear when I hear her. But yeah, she's a very interesting character, and I do love that. I do love when they're talking about like Romeo and Juliet, and this was like when Al appears, and like Al had to remind
Yes.
Sam, like like Juliet committed suicide. Suicide, like suicide, yes. What?
What a wonderful
From zero to
idea.
six.
I'm like,
It
huh?
was it? Yeah. Yeah, what are we talking about here? But yeah, so Al shows up. We see that yeah, he's a womanizer. If you didn't get that from the previous episode, and this is one of those instances where I said, oh, like it had a very comedic rhythm. When Sam tries to escort her out of the house, and he's like, oh yeah, we'll meet again when the crescent moon rises over whatever it is that he says. Like I tried to memorize it and I completely biffed it, but she's standing there and she's trying to envision exactly what he just said. And then like he backs into his house and then he like looks through the blinds real quick. I just thought that was so funny, and it's not
Yes.
something that I picked up on before. So it was just like those little moments like that, because Sam is clearly like, all right, I have to be careful with her, so if I can just sneak back inside the house, I might be all right. So
Yes.
um so we talked a little bit about Sam altering the future. How do you feel about that? I mean, I guess you did say that you were a little surprised that it came this early on. Was that something that you thought might already kind of happen because they brought it up in the first episode?
I kind of thought it'd be like a season finale thing, to be honest with you. I didn't know that he would keep doing it. Um, I thought, I guess I was a little surprised that he thought I don't know if he was just trying to convince himself or if he was just trying to excuse himself to do it, but he was trying to, or he was thinking that his mission was to fix Donna instead of fixing Jamie Lee, Lynn, J
Yep, Jamie Lee. Yep, like Curtis.
Jamie Lee, sorry. Um, Jamie Lynn is Spears. Jamie Lee
Yeah.
with Oscar.
Yep.
So yeah, to
Like Oscar
prevent
Mayer.
yeah, because Jamie Lee and Dr. Brian, I guess, eventually get married, and do they commit suicide too? Is that what happened? Because Al said something about a 12 gauge. Was it because he said shotgun wedding and then a 12 gauge? I didn't know if it was just
Oh,
like
okay.
did
I
they
heard
commit
that.
suicide too, or if it was just a reference to the shotgun wedding. I wasn't totally sure on that.
I don't is a shotgun wedding something that I'm not privy to?
A shotgun wedding, that's like when you get married very quickly.
Oh, okay. Um, okay, so all of that went over my head and I didn't really quite
Okay.
process it. And you can probably read it either way, actually. That's an interesting observation you make. Um, for yeah, I just oof, I I didn't process that moment actually. Now I'm kind of like there's a like a ton of things running through my head right now. But what was interesting is that Sam cuts Al off when he's like, "Oh, Ziggy says 99.5." I don't remember ever hearing a probability that high. Like it's almost
Oh,
certain,
really?
Sam.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like this is what because usually it's like 80 something, maybe low 90s. And even if it's like in the 90s, I feel like those changes those probability percentages go up like throughout the episode because like Sam might do something that raises it but then he might do something to screw it up, tremendously, and it'll drop like significantly. And so that's the thing, like with Sam, and you're seeing it in this episode. And I actually kind of like it that they introduced him wanting to alter it for his own gain in early this season because Sam is human. He is a scientist, maybe second if he's like a lover first. Like he's following his heart, like the calling his dad, and now trying to fix Donna Elise. But I also like this episode. It shows us that these aren't going to be easy. And so even though Sam thinks that he can fix her Donna's quote unquote daddy issues, if I can use that expression, uh Al reminds him that like, well, even if you do that, you were the second guy that she got engaged to. Like, who's to say that she won't marry that first guy? I love that. That's a bit of a
Yes.
detail I never would have picked up on. And so I thought this was so well written, and it's written by Deborah Pratt. I didn't even mention that. Robert Pratt, who also provides the narration in the intros, and
Oh,
she would later be the voice of Ziggy. That's why it's a little odd that they keep referring to him as a him, but then when we first hear Ziggy, it's Deborah Pratt's voice. But yeah, written by Deborah Pratt, directed by Mark Sobel. So apologies, guys. Like we're still trying to get the hang of this and get an actual flow. Um, anything else there before we move? Oh, okay. So another thing of like kind of him being human. There's that part where Oscar comes to the house. Sam opens up the door and Oscar punches him, which we cut to a break. And then when we come back, Sam gets up and Sam punches him too. So that's like
yes.
yeah. Sam is not afraid to fight back. So I do like that. When so when Al shows up, we do find out that the information that Al gave him in the previous episode, it didn't come without like any sort of warning. Like he was threatened to be removed from the project if he continued to do that. And so we did find that out. And I love these little bits that they're giving us of what's going on at the project because Sam leaped prematurely. And so I don't think they dotted all the I's, crossed the T's and J's and what have you, throw all the different um, metaphors in there. But that just adds. I don't know. I just love that extra layer that they gave us because yeah, the leap went caca, which we learned about in the first episode, and so they're still ironing things out, and it's gonna keep going on. There's gonna be a few times when we hear more things about going on in their present time that has to deal with the project and stuff. So I do love that little bit of element to it as well. But yeah, so Al was giving him data, and the committee warned him about going against that. There's a lot of rules that Sam's breaking right now and you can also chalk it up to like the Swiss cheese memory. And so like a little bit of that scientist in him is going a little caca. And so now he is acting on his heart and stuff, some of these instances.
Yeah, I had written down because it was Sam who made his own rule that said the time traveler should not take advantage of his position to improve or alter his life. Um, but then I also had a question too, because Al, he talked about, the trouble that he could get into, but then he kept saying that they might pull the plug on the entire mission. But if they pull the plug, what happens to Sam? Does he just leap by himself and he doesn't have anybody? Because he can't get back, correct? Um,
Right. That's the thing. They're unable to control the leap. So I believe somebody will correct us if I'm incorrect on this. But yes, theoretically, if they pull the plug, Sam's just stuck in time. But the thing is, he may just be stuck in the one leap because he's not going to really know what he's there to put right what once went wrong. And
right,
so
okay.
so there's a chance that he can leap, but there's a chance that he just gets stuck in the one timeline that he's in without the aid of the project back at home. So um, when Sam is talking to Donna and essentially is asking her out, trying to
Yeah.
fix the stuff with him and Donna in the future. I love a little bit of a sassy Sam here, where he's like, "Shove that up your gauge circuit, Ziggy." I don't know if you caught that line, but I just thought it was so funny. I was like,
Yes.
"Sam, look at you being sassy." I really love that color on him there. Um, Oscar, we talked about Jamie Lee. What did you think about Oscar?
Um, I actually I thought he was great. Um, sorry. He's actually was one of my favorite characters in the show, honestly. He's a very big meathead, but he was passionate. He really likes Jamie Lee, and he
He
what
likes her
wanted to make
body.
things right. Yeah, likes her body,
He's very horny for her.
makes him real horny, super horny. Um, but he was good comedic relief. And I think he was like a probably a stereotypical jock wrestler guy, but I thought him pretty funny actually. And yeah, I like the scenes where Sam as Dr. Bryant was trying to give him advice, and Oscar was taken a little too literally, but yeah, you know.
I cannot find the I can't. Oh wait, I was trying to find Michael McGrady's the year he was born to try to figure out like how old he was playing a college student from Ohio State, which I have a little. I don't know if it's a love. I wouldn't call it a love-hate relationship, but Ohio State, when my Oregon Ducks play them, we've had some really big losses against Ohio State. So anyway, congrats to them last season rather. But I think with Oscar, I think maybe wanted like an ogre type, right? Because this is like 5 years after Revenge of the Nerds. And
I
I don't remember when the second one came out, but he seems like an ogre type, right? Just more handsome because Donald I'm forgetting his name from Nerds and Bloodsport, but he plays that character up, and he does these things with his faces. Michael McGrady's a handsome, like jock looking guy. He's just dumb, right?
yes.
That's pretty much it, we've seen characters like this on like Saved by the Bell.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the jocks and stuff who are overplay their
Yeah,
stupidness, I guess
yeah.
is what how to say it. But yeah.
I do love him, and I do love him with Sam. And this is one of my Back to the Future moments. And so after the punch to the face, Sam's like, "All right, clearly my plan didn't work." And then they start going through. Actually, I might be mixing up two different things. But there is definitely a point where it's like Marty and George in the backyard of the McFly's residence. They're plotting, right?
Oh,
So
yes.
so yeah, there was very much this rhythm that seemed like it, because the way Scott Bakula is playing Sam in this moment, he's just very matter of factly like, oh yeah, if we just do this and we'll do this, and that's kind of how Marty was, just kind of going through the motions with George, and George kind of being bit of a floof. Is that the word I'm looking for? Maybe. Um, uh, I don't know. I don't know why try to pick a word I don't really understand, but kind of like Oscar, right? Like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. like I think about her all the time, except when I'm wrestling and like, oh yeah, this is the poem that I read her. It's like, all right, dude, you're not getting it here. So it's very similar dynamic. So that was one that I picked up there. So here is you maybe mentioned it off mic. I don't really remember at this point, but in one sequence, which I don't think Dr. Gerald, aka Jerry Bryant, would I can't see him wearing that robe, that like kind of paisley looking robe that Sam is wearing. Sam looks fantastic in it, and I'm sure that most wardrobe choices is based off of like Scott Bakula. But he is smoking a pipe. What did you think of that? Because that's Dr. Bryant. Is it Brant or Bryant? It is Bryant. Okay. So
Yeah,
that's
Bryant.
his pipe. And
Yeah,
we haven't seen Sam smoke yet.
yeah. That I so I had that as a note. I said, does I had asked the question, does Sam really need to smoke if just because Dr. Bryant smokes a pipe? I also, I mean, it's 2025 now, but I was like, oh wow, he's smoking indoors. How about that? I haven't seen that in a long time. But yeah.
Yeah. So that was the only note. See, for me, because I've seen all of the episodes, I'm wondering. See, and so I don't know if we have any hard evidence or any hard examples from future episodes. Please, listeners, if you guys have some examples, please reach out. But I'm not sure if they're trying to establish, because I know that this would be something that gets brought up later on. Is this a little bit of Dr. Bryant in him that made him want to smoke? Because
Oh,
Sam is not a smoker,
okay.
and there's something, in his past that makes me think, there's probably a reason why he never picked up smoking, which you'll find later too. The little tease. Well, I'm trying to keep it spoiler free, but for context. So that's interesting. That's something to kind of keep an eye out on during his leaves. Is there anything that we can pick up on? It's like, okay, was that a an intentional decision? Because that's something that character would have actually done, without Dr. Sam Beckett in that body kind of thing. So I'm not sure if they thought of that this early on, but it's something to kind of keep an eye out on. But we can always reach out to Albie, Christopher, Brian, all these guys and kind of ask to kind of get the answers. But yeah, it's fun either way to kind of pick up on them as we go along here. So we find out that Sam has 6 doctorates, and which ones did you remember?
Oh boy.
Uh, hey,
Zero
Sam, is that you?
physics. Yeah. Uh, um, did he have a doctorate in hieroglyphics? Is that something you can doctorate
No,
in?
ancient language, ancient
Ancient
language.
languages. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
that's what it
So
was.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely not psychiatry.
Okay. Yes, I do
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
So here we learned that man, I should have listed it, but yeah, he has 6. I don't remember if I remembered the number of doctorates he had, but I knew that he, you know, knew a lot of stuff. As a kid, I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
he's very smart. That's how I processed it. Um, so he talks to Oscar, and Oscar has a car, and then Sam has like this idea, to take Anna to go see her father. And what did you think about kind of that moment when Sam reveals that I'm taking you to go see your dad?
Yeah. So they had been kind of growing closer throughout the episode. She still suspects he's Dr. Bryant. And she only wants to hang out with him in public. Um,
Can't blame her.
yeah. Which made the whole question, hey, do you want to take a road trip to Washington, D.C. with me and 2 other students? An awkward question, but she goes along with it. And uh before that, she calls and talks to her dad, and he says he's shipping out to Vietnam the next day. Are, are we to assume that he dies in Vietnam?
It's possible. Like the way I read this was they were estranged and that was it. Um, I don't know if we find out or if we know that he like dies in Vietnam. But I think Sam said that to him, like, well, what if you don't come back? Because we don't know that, and that's just the real question that Sam was, asking him. Um, oh man, there was another thing I was going to say. Oh, I think because you mentioned like how he says, "Oh, do you want to go on a trip with me?" and she kind of goes. It's kind of almost how some of Dr. Brian's students they see him, like he's so passionate about poetry and he seems to know a lot, and that's what makes them maybe gravitate towards him, despite looks at all, you know? And so he was able to tap in Donna's love and interest with quantum physics, and there's that scene where he goes into the classroom, starts to help out with her calculations, and says, "Oh, you forgot this and that." Not even like, and I love the wording of that too. He wasn't saying like, he's not saying like, "Oh, it's not because she didn't know these things." Sam's like, "Well, you knew this, you just forgot to add these things here." And so I think that opened up a lot, and whatever discussions they had at the public library, I think that kind of added to all of that, and so I think Donna's like, well, we've really bonded and over philosophy and stuff. And there's a point where Sam tells her about, well, he mentions like, oh, I have the string theory, but in the montage, you actually see him demonstrating the string theory, which Al showed him in the previous episode. So this is kind of another Back to the Future moment where Marty was always like, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. Well, Doc tells Marty that. Marty tells George that. George tells Marty that at the end of Back to the Future. So
Yeah.
string theory is Sam's theory. Al had to regurgitate it to him. He's passing it on to Donna Elise. When she meets Sam in 12 years, is she going to share that with him? Well, but little teaser, we will find out where Sam got that theory. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay, I had that same exact thought when that happened. I was like, wait a second. Yeah, okay. Um, but yeah, on their road trip, I, he reveals to her on the trip, like before they get there, I'm taking you to see your dad, right? It wasn't right when they showed up. Oh yeah, because she's a
They
little
were already in the
hesitant, but a
car.
little surprised. Yeah. But yeah, and then they get there and I like they go up and the guard they were gonna let him in, but then they said, "Oh, well, he's not to be disturbed." And they said, "Well, if you can just tell me what your last name is." And I don't know. She has her mother's maiden name, so that didn't work. Um, the ending, um, turns out he's staying at the Watergate Hotel. Um, and so they're able to get in because the door is taped because the thieves from Watergate did that. Um, And so they were able, it was a nice moment, and probably my moment of the episode is when Donna finally meets her dad or doesn't meet, but reunites with her dad. Um, but my whole question at that point, though, when they leave is or Donna's with her dad, Dr. Bryant, Sam as Dr. Bryant is leaving. He's very happy. But Watergate's happening and his fingerprints are all over the place. And I was left wondering, I'm like, is he going to be accused as one of the burglars in the Watergate scandal?
The easy answer would be no, because obviously in the real history, those thieves were caught. I if I did have to look this up, so this is my homework, a topic here, where I believe Frank Wills, the security guard, that is a real guy. He would actually end up playing himself in All the President's Men. Shouts to Robert Redford, R.I.P. Um, and I think he even voices himself in Forrest Gump when,
Oh,
yeah, when Forrest calls down to the security saying that he sees like like, hey, that room, they must be out of electricity because there's people with like flashlights or something. And so I think he voiced
I
himself
heard about
in that,
that.
and then he passed away, I think in 2000 or something. But um, oh gosh, I lost my train of thought trying to overconceptual or over contextualize here. I see I do that a lot too, you guys. Sorry. So what I understand is he saw the taped door, right? And so he removes that tape, and then it was taped again. So
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, so Sam may have seen the tape already, gone through. And then the security guard removes it, but then the thieves are probably still going in and out. And so they're like, well, somebody removed it, we got to tape it again or something. So at that point, like, yeah, and it's a hotel. There's going to be DNA fingerprints of everybody in that building that day. And so ultimately, like, the crooks are still going to get caught, with or without. And I think that's the thing. Like, they were kind of showing us that, maybe Sam being there inadvertently helped them get caught, and so this is where it's a kiss with history. So that's going to be the expression that we use when they do this. So right here, Sam inadvertently helps military officials discover the Watergate break-in. So um I did forget how it played out when Sam does reveal to Donna that, because at first she's saying that I'm gonna go help reunite like a lost love or something like that. She's like, "Oh wow, you're
Yeah,
so romantic," or whatever. And okay, all right, well, we'll buy that. And the second part is like, I'm taking you to see your father. And maybe that's when she says, "Oh wow, you really are a romantic." I didn't remember it playing out that way because in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, Sam, this is something you should have spoke with her about because this could have backfired on you. You know, that's just
oh,
real world, thinking.
yeah, I 100% agree with that. I was like, it was a little much, but yeah, but she appreciated it.
Yeah, but again, we got to remember where it's coming from. It's coming from Sam, who loves her. Yeah, loved her in his past, in her future, right? So like, this is him as Sam doing all of this, and so it's just weird because it's like the exterior is Dr. Bryant, her professor, and so yeah,
True. Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about it. Sam knows her more than she knows him, or who, and she doesn't even realize it's him. So yeah, that is true. He would know more about her because he's known her for 10 years or so, or whatever it was. So
yeah. Also, her dad mentioned, because she said, "Oh, this was a mistake," and then he goes, "The mistake was waiting 10 years." And earlier in the episode, she mentioned, because Sam asked, like, if you could time travel, where would you go back to? And she's like, well, when I was the happiest, like when I was 6 or 7. So was she 17? Is she a late teenager?
yeah,
Like a savant, kind of like him, very smart, and so she's excelled and skipped grades or something. I because I didn't think about that until he said, it's 10 years too late. Or
yeah, the
yeah,
time didn't really work out. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure about that.
because that makes it even creepier for Donna now that her teacher appears to be hitting on her, despite the others being, young college students themselves, because that would
If
make her
only
a
he was
teenager,
15 years, if only he was 15 years younger, if she was a little older, or whatever they were saying. Yeah.
right?
Um, uh,
Uh,
going back earlier, what did you think? How she knew the way he liked his hamburgers, so I didn't, or cheeseburgers. So
that was weird to me. Be
yeah,
because at that point I had forgotten that she hasn't met Sam yet. But that's the whole star-crossed lovers thing. It's just like that, the souls, right? Like you just kind of know. But that was a kind of a weird choice to go with, like like how you want your hamburger, like
yes.
but yeah, that one was a little weird. That's all I have to say, really. I don't have anything else to add. But then I do like the joke where the other server comes up and she's like, "Hey, so like it didn't have tomatoes. You want me to add tomato? I can add a tomato."
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We have
really a student
tomatoes.
of
I don't know
his
why they
too.
didn't put it
Yeah.
on there. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, so another and I think this is my final Back to the Future moment here that I picked up on. Sam, this is after Donna and her father reunite, and Sam is ecstatic, and he's just like, okay, this is gonna be great. And he's walking down the stairwell, and I'm just like, and immediately I hear in my voice, Mari, that was an interesting like music, or whatever it
Yes.
was, yeah, Lorraine said. So yeah, and I would have to do some research. I didn't, but but I did wonder, is that the same stairwell? But it could be different, but, because I know like in Back to the Future 2, you see it more, because like, Marty Prime is back in 1955 and he's going up and down the stairs being chased by Biff's goons. And because parts of the show, and I couldn't tell you exactly like when and where, it just, not until we see the episodes, but there's parts that where Quantum Loop is filmed on the Universal lot. So
Oh, okay.
so I had wondered if the stairwell from Back to the Future was also in the Universal lot and this was the same one. But it's just me putting those things together and it's probably completely different. So um
That's very interesting. Okay. I did not know
I
that.
think that was kind of the last of my notes. What else did you have?
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Um, speaking of Jamie Lee's accent, I did like the way she said Oscar. Um, it was very, very dramatic. Um, at one point when they're on the car ride, um, they're talking about shooting a buck. Oscar says he would shoot that buck. Jamie Lee's offended, and she says Bambi is a buck, but Bambi's not a buck. Bambi's a girl. That's all. That's the thing. Um, I mean, we might talk about this later, but I liked when they stopped at the gas station and Sam asks the attendant, "Hey, you have a bathroom key?" And the guy's like, "No, there's no key. Just go in the bathroom, man. Like,
You
what are
laugh
you
at
asking
him.
me for?" Yeah.
I like a
Um,
little laugh. Before you get further, when you were talking about Jamie Lee and how she said Oscar, I like that early on when Jamie Lee was talking about him to Sam, he was like, "Oh, yeah, Oswald," and she was like, "Oscar." He called him Oswald.
yes.
I just thought that was so funny. Again, one of those that comedic rhythm I keep talking about is just it's so good. At this point, I know it's like technically the second episode because of the two-part pilot. But man, does Sam and Al already feel lived in? That these characters have already existed. It's just kudos to them for their acting chops.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit more about so Al had that hieroglyphic sash on,
Mhm.
and he was trying to help out Sam, and this is the point where he's kind of intimates, looking over his shoulder, like we're being watched, and
Can we
so
save
he's
this
trying to
moment?
help.
It's gonna come up again.
Yeah, okay, all right. But
Yeah.
I just love that he gets drug out and then like there's like we talked about like the invisible door in the first episode. There's like an invisible door again where he kind of went through there again. So yeah.
All right, yeah.
Um
And yeah, and the fact that there were other people there, and that's gonna be something too, where again, like we want to remain as spoiler free as we can, but I'm gonna give you little teases. Um, but we are gonna see an example where somebody is also in the waiting room, but it's gonna be the vantage point for the audience, So obviously, like how we saw the two people that was in there with Al this time around, we're actually gonna see them in at least one other episode that I'm thinking of where it just works for that scene where why it's necessary for this other person to kind of be in the sequence for us to see them, but not see them in this episode, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't, but um,
okay. Interesting.
yeah,
All
they'll
right.
they'll play
Well,
with that a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Uh, let's see here. Okay, yeah. What else before we get to the games?
So yeah, so just one last thing I wanted to say is I was wondering if Sam thinks that he leaped because he reunited Donna with her father, but at the same time, it was actually Jamie Lee and Oscar that got together in the car while waiting for um, Sam and Donna. So I was just wondering in his mind, does he think the reason why he left was because of the whole Donna thing?
He might have because he leapt in mid sentence, but we just needed that George and Lorraine kiss, right, from Oscar and Jamie Lee.
Yes.
That's what
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
The one thing too, the security guard said, "Oh, I see a car in the parking lot," and they were surprised by this, but I'm like, a guy and a girl just came up to you and like asked you, so why are you surprised that there was a car in the parking lot? But anyways, but
I don't remember the dialogue, but on my second rewatch, just for a refresher, because I took my notes like last week and then I wanted to watch it again. Um,
yeah,
I didn't pay attention this time around, but w when it came up, I was like, oh man, I forgot to pay attention. But I had wondered when they first showed up, did Sam say that they were from um I don't know. Actually, no. Yeah, they're all from Ohio. It says Ohio State. But oh, you know what? I mean, if Sam didn't actually say that's where they're from, this might be suspicious because he didn't mention that. So the guard might have assumed that they were from that they were local. You know, because
unless the water, I was gonna say unless the Watergate thieves are from Ohio too. I'm not entirely sure to be honest.
yeah, I don't know, but I mean, because there's a few things right there because I don't think the guards knew that Adana was estranged from her dad. Because like they're like, hey, like we know he's
Right.
shipping off. This is his daughter. Okay, do you have ID? Well, she has her maiden name. So I don't think any of that says Ohio, right? And maybe that's what it was. The guard is suspicious, like, hey, these are Ohio plates. But yeah, again, these two wanted to go see the colonel and they were being denied. And so because of those plates, I think it's a little bit more added, like, hold on, maybe I should go check in on these people. That's probably what it was. Yeah.
Fair enough. Gotcha.
Okay. All right, want to get into the games?
Let's do it.
All right. I think for the first or the next few episode, maybe a couple, I'll continue to explain what these are, and then after a few, then I'll just start calling them what they are. Um, and I may change, something. We may yeah, we might change something. I don't maybe we make one of these or add Back to the Future moments since I had like three examples. But we may not have them every episode, so who knows? But again, we're open to some suggestions. We don't want to have like too many of these, but if there's like a really good suggestion out there, we may add them. So if you guys have something, feel free to reach out. All right, your howdy doody moment. This is something that gives you a sense of the era. You want me to go first?
Go for it. Yeah. Or do I want to go
Doc?
first?
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
So really, I just had like the hair and the language. There was a far out. There was Jamie Lynn puts up a peace sign at some point when she's hanging out the window. Um, and at one point she says that Oscar wants to pin me, which is something we don't say anymore. So.
Is that like a kind of like almost like a promise button or something, or what?
Yeah, that's what I take it as is,
Or
yeah.
he's a wrestler, right? He's a wrestler, and remember Sam's
Yes.
like, "Hey, maybe you don't mention the wrestling stuff. Maybe it was a wrestler. Maybe she says that he
Oh,
wants to.
okay.
He,
Maybe is it like a wrestling? He wants to pin me as in wrestling? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, yeah. Maybe he thought it was him being romantic and incorporated like, I want to pin you. That
Okay,
it
I
could
just took
be.
it out of context as like something somebody said like back then, like it's kind of like a
It could be.
promise ring kind of thing. I don't know,
You could be right.
but
You could be right. But after because I guess my memory was that Oscar was a football player because he's so big. He's a little big to be a wrestler, I feel. Like he looks almost too slow, right? Like
yeah,
couldn't you be a
yeah.
little too big and not be as agile? Um, I
I
don't know
mean, there's
wrestling,
weight
but
classes, but yeah,
okay.
you kind of want to be quick and nimble and flexible. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah, he just his body screams football player to me, like, linebacker or something. So that's just
I agree
in
with
my
that.
memory. Yeah, that's what I've always remembered. So, watching it this time around, I was like, oh, he's a wrestler, okay. And so that's why that the term pinning makes me think of that now. So you could be right though. That could be an older expression. Did you have anything else?
I think I'm gonna save it for something else. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, for these I'm just gonna have like just kind of a one answer, but for me it was Dr. Bryant's clothing, specifically the big collars on his button-up shirts. Like
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
that to me that's 70s right there. Okay, what was your area code moment? And this is when something Sam says that doesn't make sense for its time.
When he's at the diner, he tries to order an Evian water from Donna, and then
Okay,
she gives, what's that? And he says, just give me a Coke or whatever.
give me a tab or a Pepsi.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. Yes.
Right. For me, I that did have crossed my mind if that water existed. But then the second time around, I go, maybe he just forgot how to pronounce the brand, but maybe they didn't have like bottled water yet. So that's probably correct. Um, for me, you actually mentioned it earlier. It's when Sam asked the gas attendant for the restroom key, and just the idea of like the gas attendant like laughing at him for it, like a key. You guys gonna
Yes.
just steal
Yeah.
the toilet? So there's a little bit, a little bit more to like just him laughing. It's just like, what's he actually thinking? What was yours? Wait, you already said yours, right? Yeah, the
Yes.
water. That's right. Okay. All right. So, when was Sam seen talking to himself? I have one example.
Yeah, I just have one. It's after, um, well, the first time he leaves his house and he's heading, I believe he was heading to the diner. He's outside the diner at the college and he was talking, and then there's student, well, that was an all-girls college, students seeing him talking to Al. But I think that was the only time in the episode, unless you have
Yes,
something.
that was the same one I had. Yeah, it's because they're looking at him from behind, and so
Yes.
yeah. Yeah. And was there a needle drop you liked?
Yeah. Inagata de vida,
Yep. Yes.
honey.
Yep. Me too. Thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
I just love the guitar on that. It's so good. I didn't know the name of the song, but I'm very familiar with the song.
Yeah, Inagata de vida, Iron Butterfly. But I also do like The End by the Beatles was playing when Oscar first confronts Sam inside the diner. That was playing in the background. I caught that. Just the drum solo.
Ah, yeah, Miss American
Yeah.
Pie was also in there. So yeah, there's a few or not Miss American, it's just called American Pie. That was
Yes.
yep, when they were driving. Now what about the back in my day? What did you see that is now obsolete or no, no longer exists?
The console TV, it was in Dr. Bryant's house. He was watching the news report from 1972. It was mostly about the election of 1972. Yeah.
For me, it was a telephone booth.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yep, got that one there. And making me do homework. What was something that was brought up and made you look it up?
So I'm gonna say two things, but
Yeah.
I definitely looked up a little bit about the Watergate. I mean, I knew about it. I learned about it in history. Didn't remember the complete details, but I looked that up. But also, looked up Lawrence College to see if it was a real college because I thought it was a real college, but it's not. There's a sort Sarah Lawrence, which is what I probably heard of in New York. But also, I think I got confused because there's a Lawrence Hall at the University of Pittsburgh where I went, and that's probably where I got confused.
Okay. And what
But,
was the other one? Or was that both of
um,
them?
that was about the Watergate and then the Lawrence
Oh,
College stuff.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Yeah. Okay. For me, it was it was a Watergate. I had to check on the name. I was like, okay, yeah, they got the real name of the guard, Frank Wills. But what I looked up was when they exited out of the hotel at some point, you can actually see the address on the building, 2650. And I looked it up, Watergate Hotel. That's the correct address, or at least the building
Oh, okay.
number. Yeah. So they I don't think that's the actual location or anything like that. But they made sure that they had the number on there. Like this is the hotel. It says 2650 on there. So that's what I looked up. And what was the moment of the episode for you?
It was when Donna reunited with her dad. I thought it was a heartwarming moment. Yeah, it was my favorite part of the episode, I think. I'm a
I thought it was
softie.
so, yeah, so am I. I teared up. I teared up. And
Yeah.
I just loved the way it was filmed. The way the colonel opens up the door and she's already looking to Sam and you can already fill in the gaps. He's like, it's gonna be all right. I'll be standing right here. Like that's cool. I can't imagine him having said anything else. She tears in her eyes, and so she's building up the confidence. And this moment she's been waiting, her whole life for to be reunited with her father, and it was quite magical. I did love that moment. But for me, the moment of the episode you were talking a little bit about earlier, it's when Al shows up and he's got two people with him. And the entire time, Sam's just running his mouth, and Al just wants to be like, just look, just look down at my sash. Is basically what's
Hmm.
going on. And I think what did it for me is when, so the exact moment in this scene for me was when Al reminds him, you have six doctorates. Psychiatry's not one of them. And then he goes, quantum physics, something else. And then he's like, ancient languages. And then Sam's like, oh, you talk about the sash. Okay, all right. And then he goes like, I don't know. That is the sign for it. It was the delivery of that.
Yes.
How he just quickly just goes to like, I don't know, and just immediately recognized it. And yeah, I just love that moment so much. It got the loudest LOL moment for me for sure when I upon my first rewatch. It was just so funny, and just that entire moment of Al being dragged off, and then he's just like Ziggy thinks that I'm communicating with you through code, and then as he's being dragged off, he's just like I like how do you even spell Woodhowitz in hieroglyphics?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, and so you are seeing like more of their relationship, right? Even if Sam doesn't remember how tight his relationship with Al, you're getting it from Al's perspective. Like he is willing to be removed from this project by helping Sam out, going against his 99.5 probability from Ziggy. And so that's why it's the moment for me. Now, after the moment of the episode, we have MVP. Who's your MVP for the episode?
It was Oscar. Sorry, I don't remember the actor's name, but yeah, I
Michael
just loved him.
McGrady.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job, and yeah, I don't know. We talked about him a lot, so yeah, I don't have anything more to add.
We did. You may have also gone with him to let me use Terry Hatcher. I thought she was, fantastic in this. I can't say that she was like, a childhood crush. Like, yes, I was 6 years old, and I knew that she was a pretty lady, but like I was crushing on like, Topanga and Stephanie Tanner,
You
and
you you didn't see Seinfeld, did you?
no, no.
Okay, she had a little guest arc in Seinfeld too. She was
Ah,
she was dating Jerry. Jerry thought her breasts were fake, and
oh,
yeah, and was trying to get Elaine to kind of ask her, and then it ended up Elaine and her were in a sauna, and Elaine tripped and grabbed on and they ended up breaking up. But Terry Hatcher comes back and breaks up with him and says, "Just so you know, they're real and they're spectacular." And that was like a probably a quotable line from Seinfeld. And then she actually comes back in the finale um, of Seinfeld in the two parts. So yeah,
okay.
she had
It,
a little
it
arc
it
on
took
there.
me. It took me a hot second for me to realize you were talking about Terry Hatcher because I was talking about crushing on Topanga and Stephanie Tanner. You go, oh, you see, so I thought she
Sorry
was in
about
that
that.
dating. I'm like, what?
I'm
It's a little
sorry. No,
young. Okay.
that'd be a
Yeah.
crazy episode.
Well, I am one person removed from Terry Hatcher. What are we calling that? The Kevin Bacon thing. That's
The
right.
6 degrees of separation from.
Yeah. So I'm 1 degrees separated from Terry Hatcher.
Oh,
You're familiar with my friend Yuji Okamoto.
yeah, I know him. Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah. He was in an episode of Lois and Clark.
Oh no, kidding. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah,
How about
yeah.
that?
I think it's like the Chi of St Steel. So he plays Chinese, even though he's a Japanese actor. But I had shared something on my Cobra Kai account. I was just, and people were even saying like, man, he could have been a good Clark Kent because I think that was the idea. I think they were trying to make him look, kind of like an Asian Clark Kent in that episode with the glasses and the suit and stuff like that. But yeah, so he was in an episode. And because I brought it up in my interview with him. Sorry guys, tangent here. And he mentioned he had worked with Terry Hatcher more than once, not just Lois and Clark, but also Brain Smasher or something with Andrew Dice Clay, and apparently it was filmed
Oh,
here in Portland, and I didn't know that. So,
oh, interesting.
all right, so that's our MVPs, and then we wrap up the episode with Mikey's this date in history. So, what do you have for us?
Oh, I got a good one for you. Okay.
Oh,
So, well,
okay.
first, let me just start off. Well, first, the number one song at that time was Sammy Davis Jr., The Candyman.
Ah,
Um,
yeah.
the number one movie was a little film by Martin Scorsese called The Godfather.
Mm,
Um,
never heard of it. Is it good?
so yeah. I mean, so there was other stuff. There was a train crash in France. There was a plane bomb in Bangkok. 81 people died. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so this is what I want to talk about. All right.
Okay.
So, I mean, there was tragedy. Sorry. Um,
Yeah.
so a man by the name of Dougal Robertson, his wife, their three children, and a family friend, they went sailing on a yacht. Um, and they were 200 miles west of the Galapagos Islands. Okay. They were attacked by a school herd of orca whales block. I don't know. So their yacht sank. Okay.
Hmm.
So they hurried. They were grabbing food. They had a lifeboat and then they had an inflatable raft. And the inflatable raft only lasted for 16 days. Um, so then they all had to get onto this one lifeboat, the six of them. They were in the Pacific Ocean for 38 days. They survived on turtle blood for to drink because they ran out of water. And a Japanese fishing boat ended up finding them somewhere close to the Panama Canal. And there's a whole book and movie about this that I forgot to write down. So, but yeah, I just
Wow.
thought it was a crazy story. I don't know.
Well, I know what my next true crime episodes I'm going to listen to at work tomorrow is.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is wild. Okay. Well, yeah. And anything else that's for the pop culture stuff? Yeah, Godfather was number one at this time, huh? Ah, that's amazing.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, that was everything I had. Yeah, yeah.
That's a good one. Thank you for that. And so the next episode, what do you remember of the teaser for the next leap, or the
So
the tease in leap?
he leapt. Is it leaped or leapt? We have to. I'll have to figure that out.
We'll have to figure that out. I
Yeah,
would say leaped. I would say leaped. I feel that's a discussion that's come up, with the previous hosts as well. I remember
okay.
hearing them talking
I
about
just
it. I think we're going with
I
leaped.
okay, we're gonna go with leaped for, until someone says otherwise. How about that? So he
Well, because I think the proper language would be like leapt, right? Like if you want to be technical, I believe it's leapt, but because the show is called Quantum Leap, he quantum leaps, so maybe I think we're going with leaped.
okay.
But we'll get that answered from the other guys for the next episode. We'll get that right.
All right, fair enough. Uh
Okay.
yeah, he leaped into a boxer. Did he get knocked out? I'm not sure. But
Just get hit.
okay, yeah, he does get hit, so that's all I remember.
It is
Uh
called the right hand of God.
the right hand of God. Okay.
Yeah.
So um I'm gonna guess that so Daredevil, if you're aware of that, that has a lot of boxing and Catholic Church things in it. So I'm gonna guess it's something similar to that, where maybe he's fighting to help the church. I don't know.
Hey, that's not a bad
So
guess. Hey, you know what?
yeah,
I like that. I can't tell you how close you are, but I like that prediction. I'll say that much. What
okay.
I have not seen this episode in a while. I do remember it being one I liked. There is a cameo in here
Oh,
with a from one of my favorite movies of all time. There's a cameo of an actor that's in that film, and if I remember correctly, I believe this also has a kiss of history. Yeah, a kiss with history, where it
oh.
shows us something fun. Yeah, so can't wait for you to see that. And all right, that's gonna do it, you guys. Mikey, where can they find you on social media if they want to give you a follow?
You can find me on Twitter/X at Mikey underscore graph, and you can also follow me on Instagram at Mikey G808, I'm pretty sure.
there might be an underscore in there somewhere. I feel,
Yeah,
um, but
probably. Sorry.
if you're on Instagram, you can find us. You can follow links on there. We're tagged and stuff, so you guys can find us. So, all right, well, that's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you on the next leap.